I ended up at fellowship because of my roommate from college. His grandparents went to the Rogers location. He invited me along, and ever since then, I've just kept going back. It was good. I enjoyed it a lot.
So before I moved down here, I was actually in medical school. Ended up leaving that, and when I moved down here is when I started going to fellowship with Max. Just was time for us to find a church family to go to together.
It became more about, we love the church, we love being a part of the church, but we're just coming in on Sunday and like sitting down and then leaving. And we weren't invested. And so that's when we reached out and asked if we could get a part of a small group. And that was a lot of her prompting. We knew that we needed something like that. It was just making that jump in. I think for us, that was kind of the biggest reason we wanted to jump into a community group, is because we knew the potential there. We just had to get over the initial fears of like, well, what if it doesn't work out? So Cody and Kelsey are the two people that started this community group. Cody moved down here two years ago at this point now to work here in Northwest Arkansas. They were coming from Colorado, and the two of them realized like they needed friends here as a couple, and that's kind of what stemmed the beginning of this group.
It just ended up being a great group that they decided to jump right in, and we just jumped along with them.
Them as a couple was probably the best thing we could have done for our community group experience, because they, being new to the area, were so eager to know people individually. They dug in so deep with us individually as couples that it allowed all of us to be like, hey, like, this is a good environment. Like, this is an environment where people actually want to know me.
When we did our stories, I think that really opened it up.
That for us is what we wanted out of a community group. Not something superficial. We wanted to dive in deep. If anything's going on in our life, good, bad, just generic. If I drop a text into the group text that says, hey, I need prayer, everyone drops whatever they're doing and we pray.
And it was the one consistent thing throughout the whole year for us.
They led it, they started it, they brought people in,
they hosted
every week.
We started our group in September, and then in December, Cody got offered a job back in Colorado, and they just were praying about it and they told us about it. Cody decided to take the job. They moved back, and so at that point it was just like, what do we do?
Do we start over? Do we go back to the church? Do we ask for new leaders? Like, what does this look like as far as our group goes? Cody basically sat down with the guys and was like, listen, I want this group to continue. What this group is good, and what this group is doing is good. He told me and one of the other guys, like, hey, I told the church, like, these are the two guys that I would take on that baton. And I was one of those guys. That was a big challenge for me. They transitioned out of life here in a 3-month process. And I think that allowed us as a group to also transition into not having them here. We got to see like, okay, we can continue this. As a group, we decided like, hey, let's just all be in this together. We meet weekly and it's been a blast. And I think for us, those are the most consistent people that we hang out with on a consistent basis, which is what's cool for us. It's the community that we wanted.
We're all co-leaders,
Yep.
I would say. We all co-lead it together. We all, like you said, we all bounce off of each other and do round robin discussion basically. And I think it works for all of us. I would say too, it's not just hanging out at community group, we're hanging out outside of community group too, like as friends.
Our community group, all the guys like to play disc golf, so we go out and play disc golf once, twice a week, and we enjoy doing that. And now the lives go along and we all just hang out and have fun, and we all bring our dogs and have a good time.
I think if we wouldn't have taken the step to join a community group, we'd just still be going through the motions and just go to church every Sunday and then just repeat, just do the same thing every week, and we wouldn't truly invest in growing in our faith. Being surrounded by fellow Christians has been just a huge benefit. Sorry, it kind of makes me like emotional because we didn't have that before. It helps that we're all very open with our, like how we are in our relationships, and we all learn from each other, which is huge. It's been a big growing for, I think, for all of us, honestly.
Without community group, I think phoning it in, I'd be back there in the community, sitting, probably 5 rows from the back. That way I can get in and get out. And that's something that I'm thankful that I'm trying to get away from. This group is something that grounds me into like, no, like You need to make time for this.
We hold each other accountable, not in a bad way, but just as we want to still all grow together and just meet every week. So it's been really cool.
We all realized last year what community means to you. Had we joined a group before last year, we wouldn't have appreciated what it meant. That's what we realize a group can do, is be way more than just let's come, let's talk, let's leave. That is the benefit to community groups, is the
growing together.
The growing together, the relationships together, the just life as a community. We hope that what the core group has as a connection with each other, we can start to invite more people into that because we see the value in it.